November 27th, 2023, BZA meeting will now come to order. The first order of business will be the approval of minutes of 10/23/2023. Do we have a motion?
Also move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, do we have any discussion or any changes? If not, all in favor? Okay. Now we'll have a brief statement about the rules and procedures that govern the meeting. The applicant will provide a presentation about the needs for the variance for 5 minutes, with the chairman having the ability to grant more time as needed. Staff will address any additional issues. Citizen comment, if any, will be 5 minutes each. And we would ask if there is any citizen comment that if there's any repetition, we'd ask that you not repeat what somebody else has said, but just maybe agree with them or whatever and let it go at that for the sake of efficiency. Applicant rebuttal and questions from board members will take place, and then after that we will do the voting. Once the board gets into its deliberations, then we will not allow any additional input from the floor unless the situation is that a member of the board would like clarification or a question answered. So with that, we have only one item tonight on the agenda, and it's a variance application number VA 23-000023. Ashley Cothran, is that? Is requesting relief from the Lake Residential Zoning District lot size requirements, TMS number 123-11-01-028 and 123-11-01-047 with an address of 401 Longview Ridge, Seneca, South Carolina, 29672. Would the applicant please come forward and make the presentation?
May it please the chair, my name is T.J. Bagwell, an attorney licensed to practice law in the state of South Carolina, and I represent Miss Ashley Cothran. I'm representing on her behalf.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for your time and for your volunteer service. I know I mean not to waste it tonight. In short, there was a rule allegedly passed by the county council in 2014 that set, long story short, that the property would need to be 80 feet wide along the front edge of the house, if you will. Looking at this picture here, it's kind of laid on its side, but the front edge of the house is in the upper right-hand corner more. The lake would obviously be in the widest part of this lot, away from where the road is. The road kind of cuts between the two different sections of the property, and so the front, if you could go back to the previous slide for me, the front edge is the upper right-hand corner away from the lake, which would be in our lower left, if you will. And the proposed site for the house does not comply with that 80-foot requirement, simply because it really doesn't work here. I would like to start, though, with a Freedom of Information request that's been provided for you today. Ms. Cothran, after speaking with Ms. Brock and, of course, Mr. Root, put this Freedom of Information request together really to just make it more official. Ms. Brock was absolutely helpful as she could be in trying to find this rule and where it actually was passed by the council, when it was put in place. And to my knowledge, Ms. Brock or Mr. Root or any of the staff here at the county could actually find where that had passed, where it had been put in place. We can't we can't see where this zoning requirement was actually put into an ordinance and passed by the council into law. Am I mistaken about that in any way?
That was provided, to my understanding, Mr. Root provided that to you, the ordinance with the backup material that was given to council.
Okay.
It was actually earlier in 2014.
All right, well, let's say I'm completely mistaken then, and that Mr. Root has provided that ordinance to me and that it is on the books. I'll move on to the second argument, if you will. And the second argument is that Ms. Cothran built, she couldn't remember if it was 10 or 11 houses from 2015 to present in this same subdivision. It's the Sweetwater subdivision, of course, on Kiwi. And each one of these instances, she built a house in a very similar space, in a very similar manner as she is proposing to build this house here. In fact, the entire community is shaped much like this. If you could go to that second slide now, I know it's going to be hard to see with the yellow lines running through it.
I can take that. Hang on one second.
You can kind of tell that that each one of these houses is built basically in a line there, roughly the same distance from the road and from the lake. And not one of them, not the ones that Ms. Cothran has built similar or previous to this, and not the other houses in this subdivision meet this new ordinance. In fact, the neighbors on either side were included in a packet. One of them looks like this here, more of a hand-drawn thing that was provided to and approved by the county. It's a little backwards from what we normally look at, but you can make note here that the front,
What you're looking at?
yes, the front, this one here, the front line is only 41, almost 42 feet across. The portion that would run along the front of the house, that would be the 80-foot requirement, is only 54 feet. The neighbor on the other side is, excuse me, let me get to the right spot. The neighbor on the other side is roughly the same amount, only 50-something feet. There were several other plats along that same road that was provided to the committee here that shows this one. We could look at that one there. It's the last page in your packet, and that porch there, just under the words porch. Oh, we're back to the other one. Excuse me. Yes, let's stick with that one for just a second. You can see that the porch there, or just under the word porch, is a line that's 30.30 feet, so 30.3 feet. That doesn't, you could take that and you would have to nearly triple that line to get to the 80-foot requirement. So you see that this house we're using an example here is in the neighborhood and does not meet this 80-foot requirement. Scroll to any one of the next ones there. This one we have up on the screen now. I'll get to the right one. Next to the word porch there are two numbers. One, 21, looks like 21.8 feet from the property line to the corner, and another 11.3 feet. So just rounding up, that could be around 32 feet. And you see that 32 feet only really makes us to the center of the property. So we're talking 60, 65, even round up to 70 feet. The point is that I believe that the committee's role here, real role, is to protect the citizens of Oconee County from a builder, from a property owner abusing a neighborhood, from changing the nature of the neighborhood, from making it into something that it's not. And in fact, in this case, if this 80-foot requirement was kept, that's what would change the nature of the neighborhood. The house would sit in a place far closer to the lake than all of its neighbors. It would change the rhythm of the way the houses come up. It would change the aesthetically pleasing quality of this very nice neighborhood on the lake. That it's, in this case, trying to keep the rule is not only out of character with the neighborhood, but it would not be possible. There's not a spot to put a septic tank on the front part of the property that would allow the house to be backed up so close to the lake that it could even get to this 80-foot requirement as the lot widens slightly as it moves to the lake. So if I'm completely wrong, and Mr. Root provided the copies of that ordinance to me, let's just say that. But still, this neighborhood, for years, by Ms. Cothran and by other builders, by other property owners, has had houses go in exactly like the proposal that's being done here. Ms. Cothran did not draw the lot lines. She did not make the plat for the subdivision nearly 20 years ago now. And so it's not her fault, if you will. It's not her doing that the lots were drawn as skinny as they were. With this new rule in place, with this new idea of things, a new developer on a new piece of land should keep that in mind when drawing the lot lines. But Sweetwater's been in place for 20 years, longer than that rule of 2014 has been in place. And the neighborhood has grown up with a certain aesthetic. Ms. Cothran's not looking to change that aesthetic. She's not looking to do her neighbors wrong. In fact, we hope that the houses built in the few remaining empty lots in Sweetwater are granted a similar kind of variance. We're not here asking today for them. We're not asking you guys. Of course, you don't have the same authority as council to change an ordinance, just to grant a variance in this case. And in this case, I think it serves the county well. Of course, it would be put a new house, a new structure, new tax dollars, but it also gives somebody a spot to live that matches the neighbors, that matches the neighborhood, rather than being the one outlier house. And so we ask you today to grant this variance and give Ms. Cothran the chance to build a quality house that matches the neighborhood.
Let me ask you a question. I assume you're asking for a variance strictly for the 80-foot width of the lot. Is that correct?
I believe so. Is there anything else that
does
needed the variance?
Does that mean that you're going to meet all of the other conditions? You're going to, the setbacks and side setbacks and the setback from the road? You've got from each road, for example, you have a 15-foot right away, and then you have to have a 25-foot setback.
Well,
And you're going to be back 30, what's that? 25, 35, 40 feet from the road.
That is correct.
The only variance we're asking for today is for the 80 feet. We believe that the other ones that you just listed, that I'm sure you deal with monthly at least, more than I do, will be met with the building of the house.
I'm just asking,
The drawing showing the house 31 feet instead of the 40 feet.
how many?
It's on here,
Yeah.
31 feet.
Yeah.
Which one's the actual drawing? Yeah, which,
I'm hoping this is it.
I don't think that's it. I think that's
I'm not, no, that isn't, that's a neighbor's,
Okay.
Yeah, which one is the actual,
do you have an actual,
this is the one there, you're right, this one. Okay.
Now, this is showing the proposed plat for a combined lot. They're currently not combined. We'll go back. And I did take that zoning layer off so you can see the two separate lots.
that one and the one above it?
The lakefront lot.
Yep, and that one
This is
above it.
the garage lot, for lack of a better word.
Is the plan to adjoin those lots, make them one lot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can see that the building, storage garage,
Right.
if you will, will be set up above, on the other side of the road, but it's a package deal. So, short answer is yes. I'm not very good at giving short answers though.
That's okay.
You do want to combine these?
Yes.
Okay, so that would increase the setback requirements. Right.
We can leave them,
I just-
not
I make
combined.
it, so you're here.
Right,
The,
right.
the request is for relief, so if there is additional relief, this would be a very good time to
Okay,
ask.
so whichever way gives us the benefit to build the house, that's what we're going for. So not combining the lots helps us, that's not a problem.
Okay.
I was just trying to help them at the time.
Sure.
To
The,
do that by placing it.
is this point poured, this foundation point for this building?
That's exactly where the points are.
So that is 4.5 feet from the property line. So
Right,
that
and
just,
it's gonna shift over.
That is
Okay.
actual
We're taking-
footing.
Right.
That's the edge of the footing, so the actual foundation is 6 inches to the inside.
okay, great.
When we shake hands later, you'll notice mine are soft and smooth. I don't do the construction like they do. I'm a inside, sit-down, climate control kind of guy.
So I'm trying to understand, your questions are very, very good. I'm not sure I understand the answer. So you're proposing the building that adheres to all the setback requirements except for the 80 feet?
Yes. That's what
Yes.
you said.
That is,
That was,
Want to make sure?
we just want to make sure. The reason we're asking is that if you're looking for more, we can accommodate you in tonight's meeting. And if you're not, then, and you come back at a later date and you find that that's not the case, then you're going to be back
Sure.
for additional variances. So we're trying to make sure that you don't have a problem, really.
right, I understand. I will take no more than a few seconds.
If you want to take a couple of minutes to confer with your client, that's fine.
Just so so I'm aware. As long as we
80
do
feet
not
from
define
the lake.
setbacks, correct?
80 feet
So we would have to ask.
from the lake is the variance.
Looks like it might be closer to the road though, and, than,
As long as they stay within the setbacks.
Is it gonna say,
for septic.
is it 50 or 100?
It's 50 feet from the water for the
We
septic.
gotta jump up here 50 feet from the permit. It says this-
For the septic. What she's
Where,
building.
where is
It's all back there.
where is the septic field? Is
It does
that,
not indicate.
I don't see it indicated.
But that's not our purview, that'll be
No.
DHEC, right?
That's,
So
yeah.
if we're given a variance, I wanna know if it's in the variance. what it is.
You can tell me when, so shred. So I was asking
Into the number with the lake.
shorter than
You certainly have 15 here.
We want to make sure that the septic's at least 50 feet back anyway, before, and then they have to stay back from that for the,
Well, they're supposed to have a.
Right over here.
So on the left hand side of the garage, we may be within like 2 foot shy is what he's saying. So he's saying we need to make sure we ask for the, on the garage side, we need a 2 foot variance. We can even shorten the garage if we.
That's, I got
Let me do
I've already said,
actually asking.
that garage looks like it's,
it should.
So that's 7.5, 21.
So that would be, so that's
But
14.
prior to the ordinance.
14.4.
I appreciate your attention to detail. He's doing some math for an exact amendment to our
6 inches.
proposal
Like
tonight.
6/10 of, so on the garage side, on the left-hand side, we would be looking for 6/10 of a foot, because we're at 14.4. The left-hand side.
If I may?
yes, sir?
In addition to the variance for the 80 feet that I've mentioned and talked about at length so far, the building to the slight northwest is coming up 6/10 of a foot short of the requirement for a setback from the right-of-way to the front edge of that building. And so, separately, if you don't mind, we would like a variance for the 80-foot, and if it is granted, we would also like a variance of another 6/10 of a foot necessary to put the garage in the spot as proposed on the provided plat.
Is there any, and that's just the front on the front of the building, right? Is that
The-
correct, between that and the road?
Is between the entrance front of the building and the proposed right-of-way, which is a dotted line on the other side of the property.
Okay. How about your left-hand side? Are you meeting the requirement for side setback there?
It's the left-hand side that we're asking
Left.
for.
So, if you can see the arrow, the cursor on your screen,
Yeah,
this is the request.
Okay.
So the 21.4 is measured from the center line of the road.
Okay.
So reducing that right away, the 21
Ah.
was 14.4.
okay.
So 0.6 of a foot to make the minimum 15-foot setback requirement.
So the variance will be for how many feet?
0.6 of 1 foot.
0.6 of 1 foot, okay. Very good. Anything else that,
What about the septic?
on the, we had a question, where is the septic going to be located on the property?
The septic's already installed.
Is it, where is it installed?
It's in the rear of the house.
It's at the rear of the house,
The
okay.
homeowners had it.
Where the writing is there.
Where the writing is? Okay. So it's down towards the lake,
It is,
and it's DHEC,
it is. It was passed, 2 years ago, I believe.
okay. So that's all, everything's already installed.
Yes, sir.
That take care of your question, Gwen? Okay, if you have nothing further, then let's get input from we'll get input from the staff.
Sure. So, just to address a couple of things. Lake Residential Zoning District requirements, and I've got those pulled up in front of me, are based on the lot size and whether or not the utilities are available, so that means water and sewer. You have a 1/4 acre lot and a 1/2 acre lot. The setbacks were established and the minimum lot size, that lot width of 80 feet was established. This was originally established in 2012, it was updated in 2018 and made less restrictive. So the rules are what they are. It is pretty obvious, looking at the redevelopment that's already happened in this neighborhood, that the vast majority of it doesn't comply with those requirements. The planning office doesn't necessarily have any issue with the waiver of the 80-foot width requirement, and is pretty consistent with what's already been built out there. So.
How do you feel about the setback?
It is consistent with the requests you've had in the past for
It's fairly
setback
minimal.
variances, for things that have been built and things that have yet to be built. 0.6 of a foot's not a tremendous burden to ask for.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions that you guys have about specific stuff.
Anybody have any further questions you'd like to ask either James or the, okay, if not, let us proceed. I don't see any reason why we can't proceed as just consider it one variance with 2 elements to it. We know what the elements are, and
Yes, sir.
just proceed on that basis.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we will do now, we go through a number, there's 4 different questions that we ask ourselves, and ask how they apply, and then we vote on them. If any one of if you get a negative response on any one of the 4, then the variance will not be granted, okay? Okay, to start with, let's move to the questions. Since we have no more, do we have any people here that have any inputs that they want to make to the board before we started our deliberations? And nobody has signed up, but we'll give you the opportunity if somebody wants to speak. It's not mandatory. Okay, fine. Then we'll proceed. The first one, there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. We have a motion in the affirmative.
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion?
Well, based on the fact that this is very consistent with the rest of the
Yep.
homes in the neighborhood, and the fact that it's already, the foundation's already in and the septic's in,
Yep.
and they're not asking for much of a variance for the setback, I would say that it sounds reasonable.
You agree? Okay, very good then. These conditions,
All in favor,
Oh.
go ahead and vote.
okay, do we have,
Vote.
okay, almost missed the vote, huh? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Anybody opposed? No. Okay, motion carries. The conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So move.
Okay, have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this? Not, all in favor? Okay. Ready, okay, motion carries. Because of these conditions, the application of this chapter to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Do we have any discussion on this item? Not? All in favor? Okay.
It's unanimous.
Motion carries. The authorization of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent uses or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
I move in the affirmative.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Based on the evidence presented to the board, do I hear a motion that the proposed variance be approved?
So move.
Okay.
Second.
Second? Do we have any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
It's unanimous.
Okay, motion. Variance has been granted. You can proceed, and we'll send you a letter confirming this, but you have the variance and you may proceed with work immediately if you want to.
We got both of those, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Did them as one.
Very good. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?